Oh, hi there. Welcome to Season 1, Episode 2 of Secrets of a Coffee Roaster. Today we're unpacking process. And what does process mean? So to start in the understanding of what process is, we first need to understand where coffee comes from. So coffee is grown in a cherry. Typically get two seeds that grow in a little cherry that grow on the trees. And the whole processing, on the word process, is now the next steps once those cherries are taken off the tree. This goes into different types of fermentation. Honk. So all this processing is what type of fermentation the coffee beans have gone through. So we'll start with washed. Wash process is when the coffee cherries have been taken from the tree, the beans have been pulped out of the cherry, and then they go into a water bath. The water bath has occasionally got yeasts into it to help with fermentation. The fermentation is there to help take off the sticky mucilage that you'd find on the coffee beans once they've been pulped out of the cherries. And then this gives you a really true characteristic and flavour profile of the origin of where that coffee comes from, also known as the terroir. On the flip side of that, you have natural process. So natural is very, very simple. Coffee beans are kept in the cherries and they go onto a drying table. So fermentation is still happening, but the fermentation happens to the coffee beans whilst they're in the cherries, so you get additional notes of like fruity, sometimes winey, sometimes quite funky notes on there as well. And then in the middle of all that, you have honey process. So honey process is literally in the middle of them both, where the coffee beans are pulped out of the cherry, and then they still have this sticky mucilage on there, but then they go for drying. And fermentation is happening on this sticky mucilage on the coffee beans, whilst they're on a drying patio typically. So you get a little bit of fermentation, you get a little bit of fruitiness, but you still get a really good characteristic and idea and the flavour profile of the origin, of the region, of the terroir. So when you see process on a pack of coffee, all it's telling you is the type of fermentation process that the coffee has gone through. Whether it's a natural that's going to be a bit more fruity and funky, or a washed that's going to be a bit more clean, sweet, juicy. You also get different types of processing and different types of fermentation. You'll see things like carbonic macerations and anoxic and anaerobics. And these are just further experimental processings that have gone through to control how long the fermentation happens and how much yeasts and all sorts of other fun, crazy things that's going on. I think that's it. So join us next week where we're breaking down profile.